from yourself. You got to kill all of us going down with the ship right with you. But God is saying, I command you this day to stay in the ship together because there's going to be great victory. None of you will lose your life in the midst of this storm. So they were like, okay, we are going to stay on the ship. But then they had another problem. You see, Paul was a prisoner. A prisoner? Oh, Christ. Oh, yes. He was tied to his will. Tied to his word. He was determined to do what God said. He said, I'm going to do what God says do. So he marches up to the captain and he told him we need to all stay together because the angel told me, I'm telling you, he told me if one of us try to let go, we all going to die. So he said, oh no. He said, but we have another dilemma. You see, Paul, if it does crash, some of y'all can swim. Some of y'all, you know, you can. If you can't swim, just figure it out. Figure it out on your own. But they said, well, what about Paul? If we let them go, Paul's a prisoner. He's a wanted man. Nobody can live. No, nobody can go. Everybody, we got to stay together. We got to stay together in a huddle. So they had to make sure they kept their eye on Paul. But they didn't realize keeping their eye on Paul. Mm-hmm. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. It was the plan of God for them to keep their eye on Paul. You see, a plan of salvation was developing. It said none of their lives were lost. Not a one was lost. So when they get on and the wind, Pastor, can I have some thunder? And the wind was howling and the thunder was coming and it was lightning and there was darkness all around. They couldn't see the land. It was so